Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. And as we get started, I always like to remind you how you can find us. We're at castvshow.com on the web, or you can like us on Facebook. We hope you do. We look forward to hearing from you. Let us know what you think of the show, what we're doing. Could we do something different? Do you have any suggestions? We'd love to hear from you. Of course, this week we got two outstanding football coaches. Their teams are in the playoffs, which start next week, not this week, but next weekend. And you'll have to stick around to see who they are, but you're going to like both of them, I guarantee you. And as you know, the volleyball teams are having their finals this week. So when we come to you on our next show, we'll know who won the state championship. Maybe we'll have someone from right here in the Birmingham area bring home a volleyball championship. Well, when the football playoffs get started, we've got an awful lot of teams here in the Birmingham area. We're going to list you a few of them, like in 7A. Hoover will host Buckhorn in round one. Tuscaloosa County goes to Bob Jones. Hewitt-Trussville will travel to Gadsden City, and James Clements visits Oak Mountain. That's Class 7A. In Class 6A, Briarwood will go to Florence. Hartselle is at Homewood. Scottsboro is at Clay Chalkville. And Minor is at Muscle Shoals. There's other teams in the Birmingham areas that's going to be in the playoffs, but tiebreakers or whatever haven't finally decided who they are. And I think that's the beauty of the high school playoffs like that. It goes deep into it before you can find out who's finally going to be in there. Helena in 5A, Pleasant Grove, Moody, Ramsey, Mortimer Jordan, Parker, and in 4A, Leeds are all in the playoffs. I know that's a handful for you to catch, but at least you know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our first guest of the evening. Don't you go away.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we going to have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
Good driver discount, multi-car discount, good student discount. Helping you save money on car insurance is just part of the service you get from State Farm agent Jack Traffinstead. Whether an accident or a simple question, Jack and his staff get you the help you need. And that's the value only a State Farm agent can provide. Call Jack Traffinstead today. 40 million drivers already know nobody gives more discounts to more drivers than State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And folks, welcome back. Our first guest of the evening, as I was telling you earlier, is going to be a coach, one that has been at McAdory High School for many years, a very successful coach. I've known him a long time. We go back, way further than the high school games themselves. But we're talking about David Powell, the outstanding coach from McAdory. Coach Powell, always good to see you.
Thank you, Snapper.
And for people that might be seeing Coach for the first time, Coach, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, what led you to McAdory many years ago? And before he does this, let me tell you something about this guy. I've known him many, many years, and he's been at McAdory, and if I get any of this wrong, he'll tell me, so we won't worry about that. But he's been there 32 years. First year as an assistant coach in baseball and football. Then 10 years the baseball coach, of which in 1995 they won the baseball championship. Then, a few years after that, he takes over the football team. Is this year number, 21 as the head
21,
coach
21.
there. And 18 straight seasons, his McAdory Yellow Jackets have made the playoffs. 8 of the last 11 seasons, they've won the region championship. And as the old saying goes, folks, if you ain't bragging if it's fact. Those are facts. This is how successful Coach Powell has been at McAdory. So, David, having said that, my first question is the obvious one. What's the secret out there? How do you keep being good year after year after year?
Well, I mean, I've been there 32 years, and this is my 21st season as head football coach, and we've had great consistency in the staff. I've had 3 coaches that have been with me for 21 years, the entire time I've been the head coach. I also have 4 other coaches that's been with me for between 10 and 15 years. So that's 7 coaches, the bulk of the staff. We've been together the majority of the time. So having said that, I mean, we just have a good working relationship, a good chemistry. I think that feeds over to the players. The players see it. The consistency of the program, the players know what we expect daily and weekly, and it doesn't change. And so when the players understand what we expect, they enjoy playing football. We've got great players at McAdory. They're hard-nosed players. McAdory is a special place. I've been there 32 years, and Snapper, it's like my home.
Well, you know, Coach, I know exactly what you're talking about, especially when you're talking about the continuity of that coaching staff, because I've worked for Buddy Anderson 16 years, and he's had coaches. One in particular has been with him since day one as a head coach, and a lot of others have been with him 20-plus years. And you're so right. The continuity, the coaches starting, and all that together means you don't have to adjust to a new coach. They don't have to adjust to a new head coach, and it's just all familiarity, and it sort of trickles down to the players. They can understand when there's, like you said, not only good team chemistry with them, but with their coaches as well. Right. That means an awful lot to have a coaching staff like that, doesn't it?
It does. It makes it fun. It's you spend so much time together, and you have to enjoy, you know, each other's personalities, and you know, it's tough to get that vibe sometimes.
Right.
And we're fortunate to have a good vibe on the staff, and the teams at McAdory have got that good winning vibe. And I grew up in Midfield, and when we used to go play McAdory, we used to travel down the Bessemer Superhighway.
Right.
And then when I graduated from Jacksonville State and started working at McAdory in '83, they had, you know, halfway completed the interstate. And you could jump on the interstate in Midfield and get off in McCalla. And then in the early 90s or around 1990, they completed 459. And basically 459 runs right through the front yard of campus of McAdory High School.
Absolutely.
And so the community has exploded. I mean, there's 300 to 500 house subdivisions popping up, you know, all over McCalla. And, you know, we have our own McDonald's and Target and, you know, strip mall right there by the school. And so it's a special place. The student population is very diverse, but you can go through the parking lot and you can see many $40,000 vehicles. And then you can see a car that me and you started out driving, you know, my 1968 Skylark. So, but, you know, they just get along. I mean, I don't know how many fights that we have at school, but it's not many. I mean, I would say less than 5. It may be 7 or 8, but it's rare that there is a conflict. And the students just all walks of life, diverse backgrounds, get along, and I think that just adds to McAdory being a special place. Not only have we had a continuity in our football staff, but we've had the same head baseball coach for 16 years, the same softball coach for about 15, volleyball coach. And so it's just, you know, it runs smoothly. And there's not a whole lot of problems that are distracting you from what we need to be doing.
When this team, talking about this team, the time's getting away from us, talking about this team, it's undefeated this year. I'm sure you expected to have a good team this year. Did you expect them to be this good?
Really didn't know because we're playing 6A this year for the first time, and we're playing teams we haven't played before. And so, we really didn't know what to expect because we have never played them. I knew we were going to have a solid competitive team, but I just did not know what to expect, playing these teams we hadn't played in the past.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, there's another question I always enjoy sharing with you coaches. I know the fantastic job you've done, but I've always heard that behind every great coach, there's a great woman. Talk about your wife, your family, because these ladies are special people that are coaches' wives.
Snapper, I'm reminded of that daily, okay? I am reminded of that daily. But you are right. I was lucky to meet my wife. She taught at Midfield Elementary. That's where I grew up. And a friend of mine was teaching there and kind of introduced us. And she taught at Midfield Elementary for 25 years, and this is her first year actually teaching at McAdory Elementary, and she loves it at McAdory Elementary. But you're right, she's just solid as a rock and always positive and supportive, even when she doesn't need to be. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, Coach, it's, first of all, it's good to finally have you up here. Been looking forward to having you visit with us for a long time. I will tell you this, because the segments come and they go very fast, but I'll tell you while you're sitting here, you and your team go out and win a championship that's been eluding you a little while. You win one this year, we'll have them all back up here and we'll celebrate together.
Hey, that sounds like a great plan.
But great season thus far. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, three gentlemen that have been so instrumental in the great season they've had thus far. Don't you go away. If you want to personalize that special vehicle you drive, whether it be a car, SUV, or that truck that you love so much, then you need to visit the Drive Shop. They're located between downtown Trussville and Deerfoot Parkway on Highway 11, where their fine service staff of professionals are waiting to serve you. The services include auto systems, security and remote start systems, tires and wheels, and window tinting, just to name a few. So come by and visit them today or find them online at thedriveshop.com or visit us on the Facebook. That's the Drive Shop in Trussville, 533-8785. Also, if you mention Snapper's name, you'll receive a 10% discount.
Are you sure we should take this billboard down?
People find out State Farm does car loans as well as they do insurance. Our bank is through.
Good point. Grab an edge.
Look, there's two guys on the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign.
No, for real, there's two dudes on the State Farm
Borrow Better banking sign.
Gentlemen, please get down from the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign. Phil, get the hose.
Okay, he's getting the hose.
All right, let's go.
Want to borrow better? Contact State Farm agent Thomas Waters about a car loan that can save you hundreds.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Now, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. Before we get this segment started, I always want to remind you, the way you can catch our show is castvshow.com on the internet and like us on Facebook. And that's very important. We'd love to hear from you, but look forward to you catching us on the net. So as we get started, we've got three seniors from the McAdory Yellow Jacket team that's undefeated this year, by the way. Don't get much better than that. Sitting closest to me, Brandon Briggs. Braden is a senior offensive guard.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good sized guy here. Clay Green, senior offensive tackle. And Clay, you look like you'd be more like a tight end, but that means you bounce people around pretty good too. And then finally, Tavarius Hutchison is a senior and a linebacker. Which means you like to hit people, right?
Yes.
I'm the host. You're not supposed to swing at the host, okay? But guys, first of all, going into this football season, now I know Coach and I touched on it. What a successful program y'all have there at McAdory. And Braden, we'll start off with you. Going into this season, I mean, I'm sure you guys had to feel good about your senior seasons, but did you think it would be this good? Perfect thus far.
Well, honestly, even my mom sat me down like before the preseason. She was like, Braden, we've had 2 great seasons, you know, your sophomore year and your junior year, because we went to state sophomore year.
Right.
And then we went 3rd round junior year for me. And she sat me down, she's like, now this is your senior year. We want it to be good, but we're going to be in 6A now. And so she said, so we're just going to roll with the punches that get to us. And then now here we are sitting undefeated. And I mean, hey, not a lot of punches to roll with.
Yeah, it don't get any better than that, does it?
No, sir.
Okay, how about you, Clay? Did you, first of all, Coach talked about it just a minute, and I'm going to let you talk about it from a player standpoint. Team chemistry. That's a funny thing. Like if you like each other, you don't have a lot of disagreements or enemies on your team, the better you like one another and the more cohesiveness there is, the better chemistry, the better you can be as not only an individual but as a unit. Talk about that aspect from you and your team this year.
Yeah, I think this team, we call it one heartbeat. We all think together and we all have one goal. Kind of like what Braden said, going into 6A, nobody really expected much from us. You know, they said in a few years y'all might work y'all's way back up to where you're a contender, and we all kind of took that to heart and said, you know we have a chance to do something big this year. So we got in the weight room, we worked hard, and here we are. We're all together. Nobody's better than next, and it's all one team. We all work together.
Well, I tell you what, it seems to be what Coach preaches, and if the guys buy into it and somebody that's been as successful as he and his coaching staff have been, it's easy to buy into what they're telling you, right? Because you see the results on and off the field. Tavarius, talking about you on the defensive side of the football, did it surprise you that you and your teammates have just shifted right in from 5A to 6A, and it's like you haven't missed a beat?
No, sir, it didn't surprise me at all. You know, we practiced a lot. You know, 5A and 6A really not a difference to me for real, or not my team. You know, like, it's still football. It's a contact sport, and, you know, we have to be aggressive on defense. So it's all about your aggression. It's not about how big you are or anything. It's how big your heart is, really. So if you love the sport and you can think you can play as fast as you know you can, then you won't have no problem moving up from 5A to 6A.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you one of these athletes, and I'm always curious as to what kind of answer I get, that you feel better, you enjoy playing at home before the home crowd, home cooking, or you like to go on the road where the better you play, those loud crowds, all of a sudden that noise gets smaller and smaller. How do you feel about that? Do you feel less pressure, or you feel more comfortable at home than away?
I feel more comfortable at home because with my home crowd, I like the upbeat of the crowd. Like when we scoring and winning and defense is just getting after it, it's just a lovely feeling. It feels good inside.
Well, I tell you what, Clay, it seems like that like you said, that term 6A didn't affect y'all one way or the other. It's just like you just decided to go out and talk about that. Was there a little bit of a fear factor, or did it just not matter? You enjoyed going up to the next level to see what you could do at it?
I think we were looking forward to it. We wanted this new challenge. We had never played any of these teams before that we're playing now, so we wanted to see, you know, what it was like to play these bigger teams. And like Tavares said, you play football more with your heart than anything else. And we knew that we got a lot of that, and that if we got out there and got after it, it don't matter who else is on the other side of the ball. It's about us and what we do. And I look forward to the challenge of going up to 6A, and I know that's how the team felt.
Braden, I know this question may seem a little odd, but yet there could be something to it. Would you guys prefer playing on Thursday or Friday nights? You know, every once in a while you end up with the Thursday night game, and then you got the Friday night game. But I know which way I would feel about it, but would it bother you one way or the other, or do you prefer one night over the other one?
Well, so honestly, with me, either way would probably be fine. You know, as long as we're up underneath the lights playing ball, I'm good with that. But I'm liking the Friday night lights. It's classic, first of all, TV show. But you know, you can wake up in the morning whatever time you want to. You don't got to get up for school. and you can, get an ice bath and rest your bumps and bruises and all that. I'm going with Friday.
Well, now that's what I was thinking too, but I'd be curious, and how do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. Whenever we usually have a game on Thursday, I'll check into school the next day. I can't be getting up early. I like being able to sleep in and just rest up. So.
Yeah, I know, especially when it falls on Halloween, sometimes they will move it to Thursday night. I know they didn't for our game. We're playing Shades Valley this Friday night. My wife had said, why can't Coach get that changed? Well, not only the coaches, players might not want it changed either. How do you feel about that, Tamarius?
Yeah, Thursday just not
That's
good
not
day.
it.
It's not it. It's not doing it. It feel like, you're supposed to have that practice, another practice day. And I feel like Friday is the real game day.
Right. Well, I know when Braden talked about the bumps and the bruises and you wouldn't want to get up and go to school after being knocked around, that made a lot of sense to me. Another question that I enjoy asking young athletes such as yourself is, all you guys are seniors, but to this point in your life, like if you could go to any college to play ball, and I hope all of you go to the next level, what NFL guy or college guy, and I'm curious because of the positions you play, what one of those players would you like to have your game be most like?
Well, I would probably go with the classic Michael Orr from The Blind Side, just because of how much he overcame, and he also plays offensive line. That's a big plus. But his story, you watch it in the movie, and it is based on a true story. The fact that he overcame everything in life through sports, and I would just think that's a proud testament to not only your game or people you play with, but people that could be watching you play and they could be going through the same situation, and they could look up to you and be like, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, well, there are great examples like that, and another example of that is the fact that all the lessons that these coaches teach you that apply on Friday nights, and the lessons that's going to stick with you and apply once you're out of school, out of college, for the rest of your life. How do you feel about that, Clay? What is there, you being an offensive tackle, is there any college player or pro player that you think, gosh, I'd like my game to be just like that?
Well, if I planned on going and playing offensive line somewhere, obviously I wish I weighed a little bit more. But any chance to go play college somewhere would probably be as a tight end for me, like you said.
Yeah.
So I like watching Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots.
Well, I tell you what, if you could do it and be just this much like it, you'd be a success in college, wouldn't you? Tavarius, how about you? Now, being a linebacker, gosh, there's a lot of guys that are lean and mean and probably want to pop people pretty good.
Yes, sir. Well, my favorite player had to be like Tavon Austin. That's who I looked up to. He's a little guy, didn't get much credit. He played wide receiver. He got taller wide receivers than him. And I was just, I'm a little guy who moved from outside to inside and had to take a big step up to help the defense. And that was a big contribution to our defense and what we had to do. So.
Well, now let me ask you this. Now, this is the first time I've talked to you guys, so I don't know that much about you. If there was something that y'all do, whether you had a hobby or maybe one of you writes poetry, maybe one of you plays a guitar, there's something surprising about all you guys. Tavarius, I'll start with you. And if I didn't know you, what would be the most surprising thing I might find out about you?
Well, you said one of them. I write poetry.
Really?
Yeah.
Ain't it just like a linebacker to want to write about it? but boy, people can get the wrong idea about you, but that shows that you can have all kind of personalities, can't you?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty neat. It's sort of a quiet time type thing too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like when I'm by myself. I just feel the need to write.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. How about you, Clay?
I guess something kind of you might not expect is I like to read. I learn a lot from books. I feel like it's more effective than just sitting down watching TV or something. So I just it's quiet time for me too. I like sit there and just read by myself sometimes.
That's great. Braden?
One of the things that I think interesting characters is I'm not a big science nerd because my dad is an 8th grade science teacher at McAdory Middle School, so I've always been around that. And like from day one, he's been showing me all these science experiments, and I'm like, oh man, I can blow something up. That's cool. So I'm all into that science nerd stuff. So that's me.
Okay, well, I tell you what, we got about a minute left very quickly. All of you seniors and fixing to graduate, to this point in your life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? And we'll start with you, Braden.
I'd probably have to go with my parents on that one because they've shown me a good example of what they've been able to overcome. Because I moved from Colorado in like 5th grade, so I was actually not born in Alabama, but and that was a really hard thing to do for us because house market was bad, so we actually lost a little bit of money and everything. But we overcame all that, and I'm living a great life now. We're all living a great life, so that's probably who I'm looking up to the most.
Clay, very quickly.
I look up to my 3 older brothers. They all played football. Football's had a big part, and I've seen them as when they played, and I've kind of want to be better. We're very competitive as brothers, so I've always worked hard because I wanted to.
Well, good. Tavares?
Well, my dad and my grandmother and I have 2 mothers. My dad remarried, so yeah, I look up to all them. They all have been there and inspired me and supported me all through my life as I've been playing football. So that's who inspired me.
Well, good for you, and good luck to all you guys, and maybe that state championship waits on you, okay?
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back, folks, and we'll have another coach. Don't you go away. Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. As I said earlier in the opening segment, we'll be visiting with 2 coaches that have playoff teams. Of course, David Powell and McAdory. Well, now we're glad to meet with Coach Chris Bell of the Oak Mountain. And Oak Mountain, I tell you what, Coach, what a fantastic job you've done there. What is this, the 3rd or 4th year?
3rd year.
3rd year. And I told you about the last time that we actually sat down with each other was in the operating room there at St. Vincent's, and that you've come a long way in a short while. And Coach, before we get to talking about this team, tell people that might be seeing you for the first time your background and how you got to Oak Mountain.
Originally from Virginia, been around a lot of places, and the short story, forgive my voice, but the guy named Clay Osborne had been the AD at Spain Park. He and I had worked together in Georgia. And when the Oak Mountain job came open, David Hogue, who was the AD at Oak Mountain at that time, went to Clay, asked for a name. Clay gave him mine, and here we are.
And the rest is history,
yes,
as the old saying goes. Well, I tell you what, this is the 3rd year, and your team is in the playoffs. Did it surprise you going into this season Did you feel that you and your team, I know you've been making strides, did you feel like you had gotten to the point where maybe you could be a serious contender?
We did. I mean, I think we felt like we could. You know, when they changed the regions and everybody was, you know, giving the woe is me, and it was really starting to wear on me, I think it started to wear on our kids. And, you know, we've got a great group of young people. They work extremely hard. They have bought into what we're trying to do. And no, it didn't surprise me at all. And I hope that doesn't sound arrogant or boastful, but that was our goal from the beginning.
Because I tell you what, you probably know better than anybody else your team. Yeah. And when you've been at a school 2 or 3 years, you expect your team to be going in the direction that you hope that they would be in. Talk about from that standpoint, your coaching staff, or did you have some left over from the old staff, or is this all your staff that you put together?
Well, we're really down to one from the old staff. Mike Howard he's the only one that was there before we got there. And then off of our original staff, we've got Rusty Frisch, who is our defensive coordinator, and Austin Carter, who had been working with the 9th grade. We moved him up, and he coordinates our passing game and works with our receivers and does a fantastic job. Our offensive line coach is Vance Smith. He's done a great job since he's been there. He got with us last year, was his first year. Defensively, we've got Whit Whitfield, who works with the defensive line, and then, you know, that rounds out our staff. For 9th grade coaches, we've got Riley White, Tommy Youngblood, Chris Forrest, and Wade Line, and they've done a great job down there.
Okay, talk about the 3 aspects of your team: the offense, your defense, and your kicking game, and how they've gelled this year.
Well, we try to. What we do is we try to treat them all, you know, working together. I think what we do offensively with the option, we're going to be a run-based team. We've tried to throw the ball a little bit better, but we want to shorten the game. We want to, you know, give ourselves the best opportunity to win. Defensively, we've tried to be opportunistic. I think we have this year. We're still young on defense. You're going to talk to Riley Fowler a little bit later, and he's one of the few seniors we have over there. So, you know, there's a lot of youth over there. Riley's provided great leadership, along with Nathan Bowman and Chris Hill, and good gracious, who's our other one? Alex Hooks. So, you know, they provided good leadership for our seniors, or for the rest of our defensive seniors. Offensively, we're still young on offense, too. We've got Harold Shader, who you're going to visit with, Josh Gaines, who you're going to visit with. Josh has been hurt, but we're still pretty young on the offensive side as well. But special teams, you know, we just try not to make mistakes and make sure we don't lose it in special teams and try to be sound there, and that's, you know, we just want to give ourselves the best opportunity to win.
And you're right, talking about, especially in the defensive unit, as the old saying goes, the other team doesn't score or doesn't score a lot.
I tell Rusty that every week. If he holds them to 0, I think we can get a field goal.
Well, I tell you, that's a good way to look at it, too. Coach, talk about the setup in 7A. I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be a super region, for lack of a better word to use it, but the only team that's really, to me, dominated has been Hoover, and that's in our, you know, in the region 7A. They've been beaten twice by out-of-state teams, so I saw a lot more parity, and I saw it early. I don't know about you, but I saw it early, that it was going to be a lot closer. I can't remember a time, and I've been doing this a long time now, where when you come down to the last region game of the season, there's all kind of scenarios still on the table.
Fight for the last 2 spots.
Yeah, so that says a lot for every team in the region, doesn't it?
It does, and I think it gives every team a chance to compete. You can't take a week off at all. I mean, there's no time to relax, no time to exhale. You got to bring your A game every week.
Well, I guess now, ending toward your 3rd year, you're sort of getting everything set up by now just the way you want it. The people know what you expect out of them, and you hopefully know what to expect out of those folks as well. Talk about the relationship with the people there in the community, the support you get not only from the administration, but from families and businesses there in the Oak Mountain area.
Well, we've been very fortunate. The administration has been great. Dr. Christy Sayers is our new principal. Joan Doyle was the one before that, but they've been super, super supportive, and I tell you right now, they are, they're probably more excited about this year than anybody else. Our booster club has been great. Billy Barton had originally been our president. Brian Fuller's our president right now, and they've been Very, very supportive. But I think just in general, the community itself, every Friday night at Herdmont is a great, great experience. We draw great crowds every week. It's a great environment to play in, and I tell our kids they're fortunate because there's a lot of folks in this country that are playing high school football that don't get to experience what we do week in and week out.
Well, now who is it you end up your season with?
We've got Pell City this week.
Okay, and then the first round?
We've got James Clemens.
That's who I thought you got, and then you'll have them at home. Do you know much? You know much about them?
Well, they're awfully good. We saw them on film earlier this year against Mountain Brook, and they beat Mountain Brook in the last play of the game with a field goal. They've got some really good skilled people. The quarterback can toss around pretty good. Defensively, they run to the ball well. Got a pretty good offensive tackle that he's going to be awfully tough to get around. But Wade Waldrop, he used to be at Chelsea as a head coach up there, and he's done a great job in 2 years he's been there.
Well, we've only got about 30 seconds left, Coach. I know this is your end of your third year. You've moved around a pretty good bit. Do you look or feel like maybe you finally found a place you're going to stay?
I sure hope so, because my wife's going to slit my throat if we end up moving again.
Well, I was going to say behind every good man there's a good woman, so that means you better be listening to her. But of course, I understand what you're saying. But Coach, once again, congratulations on what's been a great year so far. Good luck to you and your team in the playoffs.
Appreciate you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 young men that have been so instrumental in the Eagles' success this year. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm. Saved $760. Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Ted Townley in Homewood today.
The Drive Shop in Trussville not only personalizes cars, SUVs, and trucks, they can personalize your motorcycle or ATV as well. They also specialize in automotive accessories to fit your specification. They provide performance and fuel economy upgrades, lift kits, off-road accessories, custom lighting, bed liners, and much more. Once again, that's the Drive Shop located just north of downtown Trussville on Highway 11. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The number to call, 533-8785. Or visit us online at thedriveshop.com or like us on Facebook. Don't forget, you'll receive a 10% discount if you mention Snapper's name. And folks, welcome back. Before we talk to these young gentlemen very quickly, I want to remind you, you can catch us on our website at castvshow.com or like us on Facebook, and we hope you do that soon. Visiting with us, we got 3 seniors from the Oak Mountain Eagles here that's had a great season thus far, and I know the guys are hoping it's a long way from over. And we're talking about Riley Fowler here, a senior. He's a linebacker. Josh Gaines, a senior, running back, and Harold Slater, a senior, a running back as well. Riley, going into this year, now, is football the only sport that you play there at Oak Mountain?
I also play golf.
Oh, do you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, well, good. Now, are you a 3-year player on the varsity? Or?
Yes, sir, I am. I started my sophomore year. So.
Okay, so talk about, from your perspective, the 3 years here with Coach Bell. It seems like you guys have been building, and now you're in a pretty good place.
Yes, sir. I think, we've put in pretty much all the work every single day. And it really started 3 years ago, and we had a hot year that first year, and then it kind of cooled off last year. But I mean, we haven't stopped, putting in all the hard work that we do every single day, and that's really what has led to the year that we've had so far.
And Josh, being a senior as well, a running back, or you've been in the program 3 or 4 years as well?
Yes, sir.
And what about you? Did it surprise you at all, or you feel like you and your team are just developing the way you ought to be?
No, it didn't surprise us.
when it came, we all, the work that we put in and day out together, and we knew that if everybody bought in what Coach Bell was saying, what the coaches were telling us, and everybody just bought in, we knew that we would break through. And it, like, people talked about the region as if, like, when people said Oak Mountain 7A, people were worried. When we thought about, we were happy to be in the region. We were excited to go in and show people what we could do.
Right. Harold, a question I'd like to ask you. You guys have been around a little while, and one of the most important aspects of a team to me is team chemistry.
Yes, sir.
And if you like each other, it's a whole lot easier for everybody to get along, a whole lot easier for you to grow in a positive way and be the best you can be as an individual and also as a team. So talk about your team from that aspect, the chemistry, and how you guys have bonded over the last couple of years.
We bond. We hang out after school. The main thing we do is keep each other accountable on everything we do. We go in and work. You know, if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then we tell them. And when we're putting in work, we have no hard feelings about it. If they're not doing what they need to do, then we're going to tell them.
Well, you know what? You make point out something that's a very positive point. And Josh, I'll let you expand on it a little bit. From your standpoint, are you a quiet leader? Or are you one that if you have to raise your voice or get in somebody's grill, you'll do it?
I would say coming up from my sophomore to junior year, Coach Bell's always been getting on me about being a vocal leader, being more of a vocal leader instead of going out and playing and just being a leader about my work ethic. And I just becoming, when you're growing up, from a sophomore to being a senior and growing up, you just start learning that thing where, hey, this is our team. We're with these group of guys. And so that's when you just start learning that, hey, if we want something done, there's some times where you got to say, hey, you need to start working and getting what you need to be done instead of trying to lead by example, when there's some points where you got to say, instead of letting Coach Bell step in, you have to step in. And sometimes your teammates listen to you better than they'll listen to your coach. Well, you're absolutely right about that. And with that thought in mind, Riley, I'll ask you the same thing. Being a linebacker, that lets me know you're a hitter to start with. You'd rather hit somebody than be hit, right?
Yes, sir.
What about you? Do you lead by example, or do every once in a while, are you just a silent type that just go about getting your business done, or when you have to, you get on somebody?
For definitely the first part of my high school career, I was the quiet leader because I looked up at some of the leaders above me, and I saw that they were talking the talk, but they weren't backing it up. And so I didn't want to be that kind of leader, and me and Coach Bell have had conversations about that, and I've worked at it. I've tried to be more vocal, but it's a struggle for me.
Well, let me tell you, like you said, a lot of it's personality. That might not be your personality, but believe me, sometimes the best friend that a coach has on his squad is a young man that will step up and do something to help the team that it might be better if he did it than the coach did it.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure that's what he was looking for out of you, and it sounds like you three guys have been ideal leaders and teammates on your team thus far. Now, keeping this fact in mind that you're all seniors, and I love the positions you play because we ought to get interesting answers here. I love what y'all talk about. You're fixing to go into your college career, and maybe, you never can tell. Maybe a pro career lies ahead for you one day. But let's say right now, if you could tell me which college player or pro player that you would like your game to be most like, say, that's the guy I want to play like one day. Riley, who would that be for you?
I'd say Tim Tebow. He's a big guy, and everything that he does, he gives all the glory to the Lord, and he makes sure that if he ever gets attention, he points everything to the Lord, and he makes sure that none of the attention is on him. So I like that about him.
Great example, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Josh?
Russell Wilson. He goes out and he plays, and you know that when he plays, he's not playing just for his individual self. He's playing for a group of men that he's been with for his life, and he plays for the Lord. And when he plays, it's just something about him that I love.
Well, and like you say, it's easy to be attracted to athletes or other people that aren't full of themselves, right? It's like they put the Lord first, and you can tell them by the way they act, but then they put other people first too. It's not all about them. And those are the kind of examples we really like. How about you, Aaron?
I say Peyton Manning, because I mean, he always seems like he's got everything under control, and he slows down the game, and he's reading everything, and he's got a game plan for everything.
Well, I tell you what, now that I haven't agreed with many people many times, although I respect everybody's choices and all, but I'm like you. I hope Peyton puts so many records out there that nobody ever touches them. And the main reason being is not only his football skill, but the kind of person that he is. And it sounds like you guys have all the right qualities, leadership qualities, and y'all all believe in the Lord. And you put the right things, the right focus on the right people. And that helps not only y'all, but it helps coaches such as Coach Bell there. They're looking for athletes like y'all. And it sounds like that everything y'all done has been right so far. And you got a chance, I really think, to make some noise in the playoffs. You feel like you guys, and we'll start with you, Riley, do you feel like y'all are peaking at the best time, at the right time?
Yes, sir. I definitely think that. I think the first year, my sophomore year, I think we were just kind of new to it, and it surprised us when we got into the playoffs. And then, last year we had, the cool off year we had. So I think this year we're ready. We're not surprised by anything, and I think we're hot and we're ready to go.
Well, I know Josh, Coach said something about you've been injured. Have you gotten over your injury?
No, sir. I tore my ACL going in the Hoover game.
Okay.
But in looking at it, it's just. And things happen, and they always happen for a reason. But that's when my leadership role stepped up big time for me, just being a wake-up call. Because when I played, I could be a leader on the field and show things around. But as I started to build up and be like, oh, I can't play anymore this season. But I can also sit on the sideline. I can come to practice. I can correct mistakes that are being on the field that I've known that I've done for my past 3 years there. And so it's been a big wake-up call just to see them play and just how great they're doing, and it's just my leadership role has stepped up big time, just not being able to play, but as a vocal leader and helping out on the sidelines and just on the field and making sure that everything is done right, and that when they can't see, when their eyes aren't watching people, I'm watching. I'm always watching.
Well, I tell you what, it sounds like what you do could be invaluable for the coach as well. Guys, another question I'd like to ask you too is this is the first time I've met you guys, and you may have a hobby or there may be some kind of interest that you have that would totally shock somebody if we asked you about it. Like in your case, it's football and golf, right? Yes, but it could be somebody might be a piano player or might write poetry or whatever. But we'll start with you, Harold. If I asked you, what would people be surprised to learn? What's back there that would be different?
I mean, I'm like any guy. I like to compete on everything, and I mean, I guess singing. I could sing, but I'm not really that good at it. But I'm always going to try to do that.
You're a hit in the shower, right?
Yeah, I'm hitting the shower. But
how about you, Josh?
I'd say like when I'm just sitting around and I just got thoughts in my mind, I like to write a little poetry, put it down on a piece of paper so I can read it out loud and just get my thoughts out of my mind on a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's sort of neat. How about you, Riley?
I definitely think that my thing would be golf, because every time I tell people that, they just kind of look at me and they just kind of, what? Because
when you're, all right, let me ask you this. When you're standing on the tee box and you're ready to hit that drive, are you thinking in your mind, I am going to knock these stuff down? Are you the one that can hit it a mile and it goes that way, it goes a half mile out this way and then the other half mile back into the woods?
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to keep it in between the fairways. If I can do that, I'll be all right.
Well, I tell you what, guys, this is the last question I got for you, and it's one that I'm always curious what you guys are going to say. Being seniors and ready to leave, who's been the most inspirational person or persons in your life thus far?
For me, it would definitely be my dad. Every single day, it's just, there's never a hiccup. He's always there for me, anything I need. He's always teaching me, he's bringing me closer to the Lord, teaching me in that way. And it's just, there's nobody else that I could compare him to.
Josh?
I'd have to say my mom, Coach Bell, and the Langners, because I mean, my dad's not in the picture, and Coach Bell's always been a father figure to me. And my mom is she's a strong woman. She's raising 3 boys, and it's hard. I mean, sometimes I don't listen. I mean, I know it's hard. And then the Langers have just always been there for me since I moved here in 6th grade. So I would have to say those are the 3 most people that have helped me.
How about you, Harold?
Probably my brother, because
right.
it like ties together what brotherhood is, and I learned it with him and all my brothers on the team.
Well, I tell you what, guys, good luck. The season's not near over, and good luck the rest of the way. Folks, you know, same time, same place. So next week, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle.